Hello. In this video, we're going to be talking about the Pythagorean identities. Now, we already know that sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. We came up with that because of right triangles on the unit circle where the hypotenuse was 1, and that sine was the y value, and then cosine was the x value. We used the Pythagorean theorem. That's why it's called the Pythagorean identity. There are two other Pythagorean identities. So in the first version of this, I'm going to divide all the sides by cosine squared. So we have sine squared of x divided by cosine squared of x plus cosine squared of x divided by cosine squared of x, and then 1 divided by cosine squared of x. So everything's getting divided by cosine squared. And what is the result when that occurs? Well, sine squared divide cosine squared. Sine over cosine is tangent, so sine squared over cosine squared is tangent squared. Plus cosine squared divide cosine squared. Any number divided by itself, of course, is 1 equals. And then we have 1 over cosine squared. Now, 1 over cosine x is the same as secant of x. So 1 over cosine squared of x will be the same as the secant squared of x. And there is another of our Pythagorean identities. What if we do the exact same thing, but this time we divide by sine squared? So we have our original sine squared of x, now divided by sine squared, plus, and then cosine squared of x, now divided by sine squared of x, and equals 1 divided by sine squared of x. And so sine squared divides sine squared becomes 1 plus cosine squared divides sine squared. Cosine divides sine is cotangent, so cosine squared divided by sine squared is cotangent squared. And then 1 divided by sine is cosecant, so 1 divided by sine squared is cosecant squared. And there is the other Pythagorean identity. So there are 3 of them, and as long as you know sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1, you can quickly derive the other 2 by dividing either cosine squared or sine squared. Okay, that's it for our Pythagorean identities. For now, we are done.